As we quickly approach the derby on Sunday, there is still a lot of questions in the air as to what is Celtic's best team and who starts the game against Rangers. There's so many players this season that are deserving of chances, of opportunities, and have played out their shirts in what has been one of the most exciting and important seasons in Celtic's modern history. The new manager has came in, he's brought players in who have bought into the system, but there's one overwhelming question as to who starts this game on Sunday, and it includes the striker position. It's been the debate online, I feel like, for the majority of the team selection discussions. Is it Kyogo Furuhashi or is it Georgios Giakoumakis? Before we go any further with the video, please make sure to drop down below and hit the red subscribe button. It's absolutely free this massive week of Celtic related content. Let's try and get to 33,000 subscribers before the first ball is kicked on Sunday, and also hit the like button when you're down there as well. So the biggest question I feel like when it's came to team selection has been Kyogo Furuhashi or Georgios Giakoumakis. Now, first things first, I think we need to put out a disclaimer here that there is no guarantee that Kyogo Furuhashi will be available for selection yet. We're yet to hear the manager's pre-match press conference. We're yet to have official confirmation that he will be selected in any capacity for the squad on Sunday. But I think overall we all together are in the same boat in saying we expect to see the return of Kyogo Furuhashi on Sunday, whether it be in the starting 11 or on the bench. It's pretty much got to that stage now where we knew he would be getting back in time for this game. We've had little comments here and there about his fitness and his return date. We're just waiting for the big green light now as to say, yeah, he will be there on Sunday. But the question is still there for some. Does he go right into that team on Sunday? Does he start ahead of the man on form right now, the Greek striker Georgios Giakoumakis? I've been quite loud with my opinion. I've already said it a number of times, but we're going to discuss it in a bit more depth in this piece today to see whether or not Kyogo Furuhashi does come into the team ahead of Georgios Giakoumakis. There are plenty of people out there who will host different opinions. They will think Kyogo should start, they'll think Giakoumakis will start, but I'm going to try and look through both players, see what they offer us, and talk through what the decision could be for the manager before ultimately voicing my final opinion on who starts up front for Celtic this Sunday. Either way, I think we're extremely lucky with the selection options we've got here. We've got two fantastic players. You've got someone like Kyogo Furuhashi, who has been one of our players of the season. When he's been available, he's single-handedly won us games. He single-handedly won us the League Cup. And then you've got someone like Georgios Giakoumakis, who has stood up in the face of adversity amongst his absence from the team. He's stood in and he's done incredibly well while we've had Kyogo on the sidelines. So you've got two really good options there at the moment, either of which you're sort of blessed to have up front in a derby game. So let's start with Kyogo Furuhashi. He's been someone who we have missed. Let's not beat around the bush. I know that I've just said that Giakoumakis has done a fantastic job in filling in his absence, but we have missed Kyogo Furuhashi for a number of reasons. He has been electric this season. He's brought a real new lease of life to this Celtic side, and he's a player like no other. I really do believe that he's a one-of-a-kind asset that Celtic have had over the past few years. The style that he's brought into the team, the ability that he's brought into the team, it's been so different from the strikers of the last few years. You look at the three main ones that we've had, Moussa Dembele, Odsonne Edouard, and even Lee Griffiths. Kyogo Furuhashi is nothing like those guys, and he has been someone who has really sort of channeled and embodied this whole Ange Postecoglou system, this new manager and his way of playing football. I think he's been one of the key elements in bringing that to the side and really showing what it's all about. I think one of the main things you miss with Kyogo Furuhashi in the side is that element of pressing that is so easy on the eye and so easy to spot. I think that we have been guilty, some of us as Celtic supporters, to dismiss Giakoumakis at times for his ability to press the game, because he isn't as visible in doing so as what Kyogo Furuhashi is. Because, don't get me wrong, Georgios Giakoumakis does a fantastic job, I think, up at that line. I'm on the side that Giakoumakis does it, and he does it in his own way, and he does it effectively in his own way. But one thing's for sure, it's not as visible as what Kyogo's pressing is, because he's fast, he's small, he's quick, he's nimble, and he's constantly running. You're sort of thinking to yourself, how's he not ran out of breath yet? You don't really get that same sense of running around with Georgios Giakoumakis. In fact, he does it in a different way. He uses his body and his stature, whereas Kyogo uses his speed and his movement. That's the difference, I think, mainly when you look at the players off the ball. And that's why I think some people have struggled to take to Georgios Giakoumakis as quickly as we have with Kyogo Furuhashi. I think Big Giakoumakis has done a fantastic job in winning almost all of his haters over. I think everyone is now on the same boat where they're like, yeah, we have a player here. But there was doubts at first, and I think that was because he had to come in and fill the shoes of Kyogo Furuhashi, who done such a great job at making himself look busy. And not just making himself look busy, but by being busy. He was doing it with such quality, but doing it in large bursts throughout the game. He was there, a presence from the first to the 90th minute, and that's one thing that I think we have missed with Kyogo, that running around but effectively and bringing that press to the game that some others don't really have, because he's got the legs in him, he's got the stamina in him, he's got the pace in him to cause a lot of problems for opposition defenders. With 16 goals this season, Kyogo Furuhashi has been Celtic's most prolific player, I think. He's found the net with ease at times. If anything, he should have even more goals because of the situations he finds himself in. He's such an intelligent footballer, and his movement, his sense of understanding of the team, I think, is unmatched. As much as I love Georgios Giakoumakis, I think Kyogo Furuhashi has this brain, this footballing brain that I've not really seen in other players before at Celtic. He's so smart, he knows when to do the right things, and if he's not using his physical attributes, e.g. his pace and his legs, he's using his mental attributes to be on the end of the right situations, to be in the right areas, and that's something that opposition defenders really struggle to comprehend. So against Rangers, does that suit us more? That's the question. Do we prefer a player like that to get in to the Rangers centre halves? You're looking at your Connor Goldsons, your Calvin Bassies, etc, etc. Does he deserve to play more? Does he fit the system more? Well, I think we'll look at that further when we talk about Georgios Giakoumakis, but we have seen Kyogo play once against Rangers so far this season, just like we have with Giakoumakis, and it was a tough game for Kyogo. They really did kind of suss him out. It was Balogun, I believe, who's kind of handled him throughout that game and done so quite effectively. However, I feel like this is a Rangers side who now are in a different position from what they were in that game, and chasing him around in a situation where they could be behind in the game could really suit us. Kyogo dragging defenders away, making them panic, making them go with knee-jerk sort of reactions, could really open up the game for other players, and that's where Kyogo could be effective for Celtic in that game. It's a really good option to have. However, we've got to talk about the man who's on fire at the minute, and that is Georgios Giakoumakis. You talk about a guy who knows to be in the right places at the right time. Well, I spoke about how good Kyogo Furuhashi is at it. Well, Georgios Giakoumakis is equally as good at it, I believe. You look at the statistics of where his goals have come from and how they have been scored this season, it's quite scary. Basically all first touch goals for Georgios Giakoumakis. 11 goals in the absence of Kyogo Furuhashi. He has stepped up when we've needed him most, and he's been vital in this team where we have swung the pendulum. You know, we were behind by 6 points at one point. We're ahead by 3 points now. And one guy who's been maybe and arguably the centrepiece of that, you could say, is Georgios Giakoumakis. That statistic about first touch goals is really underrated and one that isn't spoke about enough. The fact that he has managed to score so many of those by simply being in the right place at the right time, you could say is just a typical old-fashioned poacher, which to an extent you could say he is, but there is so much more to it than that. There is so much intelligence that goes into a footballer's game that makes them able to be that sort of player and understand the game so well and understand his teammates so well, to be on the end of those crosses, to be in the right position to pick up a pass, and he possesses that knowledge, and that's where we're so lucky where we have players like him and Kyogo Furuhashi. But his ability to do that over the past few months has been huge for Celtic. It's single-handedly won us games. You know, we've seen how big it is to him, and he's won over so many people because of that ability. He really is, and I'll say this one more time because I've said it so much in recent months, he's a player that we have not had in a long, long time. You cast your mind back as far as maybe Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink to say that Celtic haven't had a striker who is capable of these things, who's capable of winning the headers, who's capable of being on the end of crosses and scoring with one touch all the time. You've not really had that in recent years, but Georgios Giakoumakis has suddenly brought that option to Celtic, and potentially made himself a match-winning player. When you need that in certain situations, in tough, tight situations, you've got that player to do that now, where in recent years, Celtic simply haven't. Let's not forget that Georgios Giakoumakis has scored 2 hat-tricks in his last 2 starts at Celtic Park. That is a phenomenal stat, and I think it dates back quite a while as well, and to find the last person who'd done that. He is on fire at the moment, and his form deserves to be rewarded. For me, and this is where I kind of give my overall opinion and conclusion to the subject, he deserves to be rewarded, and he deserves and should be starting against Rangers on Sunday. I love Kyogo and I can't wait to see him back, and I actually hope he does come on the park at some point on Sunday, but right now there is no justification to dropping a man on fire like Giorgos Giakoumakis. His form is red hot at the moment, and you can't sacrifice that for any reason at all. The last time that Giorgos Giakoumakis played against Rangers, I think he was incredibly unlucky that he didn't find himself on the score sheet, but what he did do was effective throughout the whole game. His presence in the game was so effective for Celtic, and it opened up the game and opened up possibilities for us in that final third that ultimately saw us run away with the game in the first half. As I touched on earlier, his ability to hold up the ball, his ability to use his body, and his ability to kind of bully defenders at times that we've seen against Rangers on February the 2nd, is game-changing for us. And it's once again something that we've not had. He'd done that so well against them on February the 2nd, and I think that he can do that once more at Ibrox when it could be tougher, when Rangers could be more up for it and the defenders are more up for it. We need someone physical, we need that presence, we need someone that's able to take a few hits. And that's the other reason why I don't think Kyogo should start the game on Sunday. He is just returning from a massive injury. This is a player that we need to keep fresh now for the hardest part of the season. We need to kind of protect in a sense. And Rangers are going to be physical from the first whistle, the first ball being kicked. They will want to get into this game. They'll want to win this game. It's so big for them. It's so big for us. But Rangers need to catch up. And they will be physical. They will kick lumps out of Kyogo if they really need to. So I would rather protect him coming back from an injury so that we don't have the same situation as what happened last time where he's back and then he's suddenly gone again. Giakoumakis, I think, is... I'm not saying that he can just take hits here left, right and centre, but I think he, with the presence that he holds in the game and his physical side, is going to be far better at taking it and using it maybe to his advantage than what Kyogo would. I said that he was unlucky in the last game against Rangers. I really don't think he'll be unlucky twice. Give him an opportunity and I'm sure he'll find the back of the net. I'm confident he is the right option for us up front on Sunday, and I'm hoping to see his name on the team sheet come 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. So that does it. There's my opinion to the big Giakoumakis or Kyogo question. We'll have a full lineup prediction later on in the week as to who I think should start at Ibrox in this massive, massive game. But that'll do it for today. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.